Welcome to the Man Conversations, brought to you by Sorbet Man and GQ. Today, we're speaking to the man of radio. If you've listened to him on radio or follow him on social media, he has a tagline that I pretty much like, and I think it's dope. The best thing ever. Welcome, DJ Sabby.
Bam! Okay, let me get it right. Oh, yes, thank you, everybody. All right, yes, it is I.
How are you?
I'm good, brother.
Good,
you see, after COVID, that is weird now. You don't know if you should do this.
Do this or like
do that.
Open hand.
Or do that. Like, yeah, whatever.
One of those. So I see your toes.
You see them, right?
You were speaking about great pedicure that you had.
Yes.
So let's talk about grooming. I've started loving pedicures as well recently. What's your favorite thing to groom?
For me, nails, it's a thing. I do it all the time, a facial once a month. Every now and then I'll go to a spa with the wife. I love treating myself, bro. I do all the things that the ordinary man wouldn't do. You know, I color up my nails in different colors. I go black, I go white with different styling. This time around, I was like, it's GQ, so, you know.
Just keep it clean.
Be humble, be straight to the point.
Wow, I get you. And how important is that? I think for me, personal grooming also affects even your mental health, how you feel. For you, what does it do for you?
Bro, I just feel like when you look good, you do good. And when you do good, you feel good. It just changes the aura. It kind of takes you to the next level. And also I got this relationship with myself. I'm very hard on myself, but when I'm kind, I'm very kind on myself. Because when I go through all these things, I go through it by myself. It's very important. I reward myself a lot, bro.
That's good. Speaking of rewarding yourself, 19 months at Metro.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything to celebrate that? Almost like a milestone as well.
Yeah.
But also, how has that journey been?
It was amazing, man. I joined Metro. I took over it's an iconic show, the Top 40. There's some of the biggest and greatest names behind the mic that have hosted that show. Immediately when I was offered that show, top of mind, I was like, whew. Okay, it's time to put your name in history. Cement yourself among some of the greatest to have ever done it. And fast forward 12 months later at the #1 show on the station, that for me was testament. It was an amazing moment because Metro has just always been the pinnacle, the milestone, the destination. For most of us as black young jocks, you want to end up at Metro. And then when I was offered to take over Dinero 9 to 12 on a bridge, I had never done 9 to 12 on a weekday. The last time I did 9 to 12 was on Saturday and Sunday on Y.
Yeah.
And I still had to keep the top 30. So 6 days a week from doing one show a week, national, totally different formats and sounds of both shows. I'm loving it, bro. Like, I'm living my dream. I wake up every single morning. Sometimes I got to pinch myself because I'm so present. I'm so aware. Sometimes we tend to not be aware. I'm very aware. That's why people say, Sabby, you're so happy, it's annoying. I'm like, it's hard not to be happy. Like I'm here. I'm a GQ, man. What you mean? GQ taught me to match my belt and my shoes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Thinking of successes, right? So you had the #1 show after 12 months. Does that put any pressure on you to continue to raise the bar? And in cases where maybe things don't work out the way you want them to, how do you handle that?
I always treat every show like a soccer game. It can go anywhere.
Okay.
It's unpredictable. You're literally as great as your last show. So the music has to be top tier. The content has to be top tier. No one cares if Sabby's having a bad day. Make me happy. Sabby, I'm here. Make me happy. I don't care. For me, that's the mindset every single time I go behind the microphone. And joining weekday after being on weekend after 12 months in Metro and having a #1 show, it's technically competition itself.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm going to compete to myself on the weekend. So what are we going to do on weekday that we're not doing on weekend? And that's just the exciting part of it all. I think it's always great when you're in competition with the person in the mirror. It makes it all fun. Makes it all fun.
So take us back to when you decided you want to be a broadcaster, a jockey.
Yes.
When was that? And when did you realize that, okay, this is a passion I have and I'm actually going to make it something I do for a living?
Radio said hi to me. And it's the girl that's always been trying to get me to pay her attention. I was like, hey, man, wait a bit. Wait a minute. I used to be a guy who used to love commentating while the guys were playing basketball. I was a short, fat, chubby dude at the same time, borderline fat. So I was like in the middle. I don't think much has changed. And every time guys would be playing basketball, I'd always have this commentary that will affect their psyche. It's like, come on, that layup could have been great. That wasn't a 3, that was a 2. And then Ufutisbia heard this commentary every now and then. He's like, why don't you say it on the mic? Why don't you come do it on the radio? And for me, radio was just weird, man. Like, you go into that room, you talk alone.
Yeah.
No one, they listening, but I just didn't get it. Then I gave it a shot one day. They had auditions. I gave it a shot. He said, come through, give it a shot. I gave it a shot. And that's when the journey started. July in 2004, I was 14. We got a 31-day broadcasting license from ICASA. And that's when it all started. Now I had people in places far and wide calling, saying, oh, yeah, turn energy out. I used to broadcast in Zulu back then with my squeaky voice, high pitch. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to play songs. I want to make people happy. I want to have conversations because I'm that guy, man. Like even when I used to take taxis going home to Mahlabatini, just like my dad, I start conversations with anyone. Like my wife hates it. When I pay for groceries, I start conversations with the cashiers. I start conversations everywhere. But fast forward, I made that decision 2007. I matriculated 2008. Came to Nemisa to do radio production. Got my break at KFM in Cape Town. The Gops number Ian Music Star, see that's the Afrikaans I knew. Joined Hi-Fel Stereo. Then went to Y. Spent 10 years at Y. Did some iconic things there. And then now doing some iconic things at Metro.
And speaking of iconic things, 5 highlights in your career over the past, how many years has it been?
It's been 14 now.
Okay.
Commercially. 5 highlights. Let me see. At Y, I'll probably go down as the longest serving drive time host on the station. I did a show for 5 years. I was the first job to bring a Radio Awards nomination to Y. Working with the BBC on BBC Sounds, where I was heading the sound and exporting music coming from the SADC region of the continent. That was definitely also a highlight. Covering the EMAs was also quite dope in Amsterdam, and joining Metro, definitely a highlight up there as a highlight in my career. There's so many, but I think because those ones are coming up top, they must have sentimental reasons.
And personal style, I think you're one of the most stylish people I know.
Thank you,
I'm not
sir.
only saying this because you're here.
Yeah.
I think you dress really, and you vacillate between, like when you wear formal, it's really great. You do street style. How would you define your personal style?
It's how I feel. It's how I feel. If I'm really not in a good mood, I look really great.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is
I don't dress how I feel. My mom taught me that. Awufuna abantu babe nosizi. So people shouldn't see your troubles through how you dress. So most cases and most times when you see me looking dapper, I'm not in the best mood. And when I'm also not trying to put an effort, black is a safe color for me. I'll put out an amazing number in black. But I dress how I feel. Like if I try not to go the extra mile, the clothes communicate. Sometimes I buy things and the wife says, why? I'm like, it said hi. You know, I'll introduce it to the community. And then when it gets into the community, I literally do an induction. I'm like, guys, meet this guy. At some point, we have to work together. It's like sometimes when I pick shoes, I go to the back end and I can hear the shoes talk like, you haven't been here in a while, man. Come. I have fun with clothes, man, you know, and also I've had a chance to work with stylists who have opened up my mindset. I remember going to a GQ event and after that event, you guys had me as one of the best dressed men. I was dressed by Ruben. It's like, Sab, I want you to show your chest and we're going to wear color that you've never worn before. I think it was lime. And a floral shirt and sneakers just to keep me in my zone. I felt good. I felt good, but that was him pushing me out of my zone. Working with stylists has given me a totally different perspective to what style is, what fashion is, and how you can have a signature look.
When someone loves to dress, it usually comes from your upbringing somehow. For you, is that similar?
My mom was such a stylish queen, man. When I think of how my dad was and how my mom was, I think clothes was probably a love language. My dad, every Sunday, when he would come over, the way he would look when everything is put together, he had a hairline. I don't know what went wrong. He would do this.
I know the feeling.
You know?
My dad had a hairline, so...
You know, I used to call it the Luda Fan Ross. He would have this curl. I'm like, woo, that's my dad. And I think, you know, being a young person, you observe how your parents feel when they look good.
Yeah.
Fridays was always a short day at work. She would knock off at 1 or 2. And that's the day where she would wear some of her finest pieces. And I've also figured it out that maybe once a day you need to have that day where you just literally turn it up. You know, people ask you where you're going. I'm like, nowhere.
Just switch it up.
Just switch it up because you can, you know. So I'd say my parents. They were two different worlds, but there's parts of them that I think comes across with me.
And who inspires you as a jockey?
Yeah.
And then who inspires you just as a man, as Sabby, outside of the media industry?
It's a very hard question. I do not know why. Because I got to think of the 14-year-old me and like a 21-year-old me. I'd say when I was young in the hood, the gangsters brought color in the township. They had the coolest shirts, the coolest cars, and we all kind of had an idea what they do.
Yeah.
So that kind of like was a window to what else could be out there. Like in my township in Mandeni, like the brightest color you'd see was peach or orange. And outside of that, you'd barely see a green. But TV was the furthest window to, oh, get out of here. There's that. So that's when I started being introduced to other figures. And radio also played a big role in introducing me to other voices with a totally different perspective to life.
Yeah.
So I'll say in that aspect, Ulinda Sbia, for me, was a very crucial figure because he was doing all these cool things. He was absolutely amazing on the radio, energetic. He was a father. He was doing these school tours. He never had a bad day behind the mic. And I loved him for that. And then in the closest form, someone I had access to was Ubaba Mncane wami. I don't know how you say Ubaba Mncane in English. This is like an uncle.
Yes.
Yeah, my father's brother.
Younger brother.
That one, yeah. He was also a big inspiration because here's this guy that knew what he wanted to do, went to the corner, the tip point of South Africa, which is Cape Town, and started a whole new life there. And when I look at all the things he's achieved throughout these years, I was like, wow, it's possible. You know, it's doable. So I'd say those two men. You know, Linda, for me, I always mention him in interviews because when I think of why I think I even decided to do radio, it's because every day this guy was just always there. Whenever I went home, he was never late. He was always on time and he never had a bad day. And also he was that guy that he would speak his broken Sutu. And I was like, what is this thing that he's speaking? Then you'd watch Generations, Karabo Moroka speaking this language. I'm like, oh, hey, where's this place? Gauteng. Like, okay. You know, and everyone would want to go to Durban for a job. At first, Joburg was a distant thought. I was like, there's something about Joburg that has like so many options. I want to experience it one day.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of Linda. You know, Linda definitely rates him up there. And yeah, definitely. You guys are the starrings.
The best thing ever. How did you come up with that?
My real name is Usabelo. Most of the guys who are Sabelo, we all have the same names. Abu Sabza, Sub-Zero. I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it. Grade 6, Mr. Muhammad was my teacher. Every now and then he would say, Uncle Sabby, please write down the names. I was one of the monitors. I was a snitch. So if you make noise, I write your name down, then I tell Mr. Muhammad.
If you don't like me, you might just write me down.
I really did.
Just.
Yeah, I was a fat kid. Literally, I had nothing to lose. That was the cool thing that I had. The pretty girls, you know, they'll find a way to, Sabby,
Please don't write me. Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. You know, it worked in my favor. But that's when the name Sabby was seeded. It's changed throughout the years. At some point, it was Big Boy Sabby, the BB and Sabby. It was King Sabby, Sabby the DJ, which now also exists. But Sabby actually means the best thing ever. It means the greatest in the world. It means pimp. It means, in the Urban Dictionary, when you look it up, it's the opposite of shabby. So if something is shabby, it's pop. So if something is sabby, it's the best thing ever. So if you're having the best day ever, you can literally say, I'm having a sabby day.
Oh.
Once I figured that out, I was like, I've been cocky, but someone's got to live up to it.
Yeah.
I ran with it. I remember when I joined Y, I used the tagline after I took over 12 to 3 Graveyard. My Snoop session, my program manager is like, best thing ever. At night. What do you mean? I'm like, this is what it means. Sabby means the best thing ever. Then I opened up Urban Dictionary. I showed him. And I was like, ran with it. And it's been the best thing ever since. I just love it, man. Like people, for some weird reason, it's like DJ Sabby has become the first name. the best thing ever has become the last name.
Yeah.
It just, you have to say it together. It's beautiful. At some point, it was DJ Sabby. You got to say it twice, you know? And then I started having that line on radio, DJ Sabby. And the aura and the energy around my brand has always been positivity.
Yeah.
It's always been energy. Because for me, you have to tap into your happy side to engage with me. So when guys scream out my name wherever you may be, I slow down. I'm like, yes, there's an injection of positivity. That means you are the best thing ever at that moment.
So how do you tap into your happy side when you're not having a happy season?
I leave all my stuff in the car. Yeah, it's a mindset thing. I leave it in the car. I'll deal with it when I get into the car. Sometimes they follow me through. You just learn to live with it. Like I lost my mom while I was on the air. Yeah.
Did you find out while you're on air?
I was doing my show at 5:30. I linked to news and sports. Got a call from my niece saying your mom has just collapsed. It's like, what you mean? Then I played ads, came back from ads, got a call confirming she's dead. I could not leave because I had a competition moment at 22.
Whoa.
So I had to be strong, not tell my team what's going on, keep a straight face. As soon as I was done with the competition, because if I'd not done it, I would have to pay some money. I was like, guys, I have to go. My mom just died. And everyone was shocked. It's like, you mean to tell us? It's like, because I have found a way to kind of be me, but also not bring my stuff at work. Yeah, I think I got a well of happiness in me. Yeah.
If we were to rock up at your house on a day where you're chilled, you're relaxed, what would we find you doing? What are the things that you enjoy doing away from being someone who's known?
I have a bar in my house. I have every alcohol you can imagine.
Japanese whiskey?
I probably have it.
Okay.
I've just never opened it.
I'll pull through.
Please?
Yeah.
I'm always mixing stuff. I'm going through a phase of trying out cigars now. I'm a Habli guy. I got Hablis in different shapes and form. I got all the flavors you can imagine. My family knows on Sundays, I need 4 or 5 hours of no interruption. Even my son knows. Dad is somewhere there in the house. I'm watching Netflix. I got my Habli. I'm drinking a drink. I can't tell you what's inside. I've had an edible. I am chilled because I work so hard. Even my wife knows. If we got errands to do, by 12, I'm back in the house. You think I'm going to watch sports. And I'm not that guy. I don't want to watch soccer and stuff. I watch the highlights. It's fine. And then I just...
And how important is that? Because I'm hearing you say that, and I'm thinking it's really important for one to take that time out.
Yes.
But I think people don't actively do it.
Yes.
Because as a father and as a husband and so many other things that you have, sometimes you may feel like, okay, let me do all these things for my family. When did you learn that it was important to take that time out for yourself, by yourself?
I wouldn't say I learned it anyway. It's just, I realized that there's a relationship I've built throughout these years with me. I have to maintain it. There's that thing, that connection. Hence I say, I've learned to be hard on myself and be kind on myself. And even with my wife, I've taught her to have a relationship with herself. Because once you confused with self, you start throwing it on me, then you start saying, I'm the reason why you like this.
Wow.
When in actual fact, it's something with you.
Wow.
So there's certain moments in time where you need to spend time with yourself. Because if you only spend time with yourself when you're only going through hardships, your brain is never conditioned to see light when you're going through stuff because you're only by yourself when you're clouded. I've created a space for myself on Sundays to just be by myself. I'm going through like different emotions. Sometimes there's no bad thought. If you used to think in negativity, your brain is easy. It finds negativity with ease. I am so well conditioned. I'm not depressed. I'd be lying if I said I'm depressed. I go through the same stress like everyone else, paying bills, keeping everyone happy. I got an amazing formula that keeps me sane. It's very easy. You just gotta have like a department for everything. You know, Saturdays, during the day, it's a wife's day. Are we doing groceries? Are we cleaning? We take the kid out. He does what he needs to do. I drop off the kid every morning to school. Sometimes I pick him up. I keep a promise every Friday, Monday to Friday. If he behaves at school, he can get whatever he wants, McDonald's, whatever. That's a promise, you know, so he looks forward to something. And that's me It's seeding the idea of working towards something.
Yeah.
So he knows that if I behave at school, Friday I'm gonna get something. Through these lessons, he's able to control his emotions because he knows the bigger picture. Yeah.
Top 5 favorite songs right now, or most played. If we're gonna look at your playlist, what's the top 5 most played songs?
Right now, I'm loving. There's a lady called Lord Keys, Midsummer. I'm loving her music. My Nana's also within my playlist. I think right now R&B is in a great moment in SA. I'm loving Rema. I think Rema's absolutely amazing. I'm loving KO, man. KO's album's also on rotation on my playlist. Maybe it's because of Sete. It's between Blackie and Nasty. Blackie's got all these songs that make you feel good. Nasty is going through this amazing vibration right now. But yeah, you find a lot of Afrobeat and hip hop and R&B. House,
Amapiano, here and there.
Here and there. Fridays.
Yeah, okay.
Fridays. My piano's good on Fridays. I love it on Fridays. I'm like, yay, we can I love it.
But it's still going to work on Saturday, though.
Yeah, I still got to work. I count down 40 of the biggest songs. I listen to so much for different reasons. The segment I do on One Extra requires me to be in tune with R&B music. I got the Africa Boomers. I do the African chart show, the All Africa chart show. Then I do every hour on my show. And the first hour is dedicated to acoustic, neo soul, Afro pop, all these sounds that normally don't get played on radio. So I need to cover that palette. Throughout the week, I'm running through so many songs. I'll probably say in a week, I listen to 550 songs on average. Tuesdays, I listen to unsigned artists.
Cool. Lastly, what's your dream for yourself?
I probably just want to remain happy. I want to remain content. I was telling the wife the other day, I think I've reached an amount in my head that should I make this amount, I'm cool. If you live this life chasing money, man,
you'll never make enough.
You'll never make enough. I've reached an amount in my head, babe, if I check my balance, I have this and I have all of this, I think I'm okay. Everything else that we achieve is an extra. You know what I mean? Because I do not want to die, guys. And my excuse is that I was hustling in my 50s and 60s. In my 50s, I want to wake up when I want. The whole radio medium would have changed by then. I'll probably be doing syndication radio like Steve Harvey and Ryan Seacrest, where I record my shows a certain time. They syndicated across the world. I probably have a channel somewhere. I have an idea of how I look and I feel, probably playing golf, taking swims when people are rushing home. I have an idea of how my life will gonna play out, but I'll be lying. People say, I wanna be a billionaire. That's not the number in my head. Maybe when you convert it to rand, it's $1 billion. Mindset wise, I'm in dollars. If I have that amount,
I'm good.
Bro, I'm not gonna die chasing money. I just wanna be happy, man. And being happy is being content.
This is good. So good. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
literally feel like I got to know you a bit more.
I'm open, man. I never hold back. That's all I say with these interviews. What's the point of doing an interview if I'm gonna give you safe answers?
Yeah.
And I say this to even artists, Yeah. Speak, connect.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Man Conversations in partnership with Sorbet Man and GQ. And thank you to the Man of Radio, Sabby.
Thank you, bro.
For pulling through.
Thank you.
This was
Anytime.
dope.
It was amazing. Had fun.
Catch you on the next episode of the Man Conversations, brought to you by Sorbet Man and GQ.